Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. So I want to give you a bit of education about crypto and AI. I think a lot of people understand that it's highly likely that the coming narrative of the bull run is going to have a lot to do with AI because there's always some narrative that occurs with every bull cycle. Back in 2017, it was all about the ICOs. 2020, you've got the rise of DeFi, which came included with that. You've got NFTs, a number of other things. And the assumption is that this cycle, when it comes to altcoins, anything that's going to be AI related is going to do well. That's the assumption. But I want to explain a bit about what you should be looking for in regards to this, because one of the problems that I see with newbies is, and by the way, I'm not pointing fingers because this is how I started off as well, is that you tend to do keyword scanning, right? So particularly when there's a narrative, maybe you just scan through the white paper, maybe you look through the promotional material on different social media networks. Like you're researching a coin and you just see, oh, there's AI, here's DeFi, here's this, here's that. And I don't want you to get in too much into this hype to the point where you don't fully understand the relation between AI and crypto. So this is going to be a video that's going to explain what the relation between AI and crypto is, and then explain, what exactly you should be looking for if you were going to invest in a crypto related AI project. So first, if you like this channel, make sure to subscribe. I give daily updates on debanking, how to use peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchanges, and just general no nonsense advice about crypto. And yeah, so make sure to subscribe, and you can use my referral links in the description down below if you like to buy cryptocurrency without KYC. I have a number of suggestions. They're all related to peer-to-peer trading, so you can use my referral link for our local coin swap, HODL, and I've also got another one for Monero. It's called BitPapa. You can also check out some of my other referral links there for different things like gift cards and other stuff. So let's get into the video. So let's have a look here real quick on CoinGecko for all the different. If I click on categories and I sort of by AI, you're going to get a list of different things. Now, this is going to include everything that has even just the most marginal relation to AI. But there's one narrative within the crypto AI stuff that I want to talk about, and that's a concept called DPIN. So a lot of real crypto AI projects that aren't just saying that there's AI in their protocol as just some kind of meme. Most of them are going to be related to this thing here, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, or DPIN. So what this is a very unique concept, and I will want to take you back to 2017 to when I first discovered this thing, DPIN. So I remember there was a project called Golem. I was into it for a little while because I really liked the idea. And what it was basically a decentralized. How can I say? Okay, let me start again. Um, all around the world, there are different tech companies that require huge amounts of bandwidth in order to be able to process something, right? So one thing might be if you're a video game studio, or if you're making movies. A movie is a good one. Let's stick with movies, right? Let's just say you're Disney, right? And you've got to you're compiling like all your scenes, all these different edits, all the animations, and you're compiling into just one video, and it's huge amounts of it's extremely taxing on your computer. So they need to have the best computers possible, and the rendering process will take a very long time. It's going to need a lot of infrastructure. They need a lot of computers. They need a big setup for it. They need to hire the right people to be able to manage this stuff. And the whole rendering process, rendering basically means just compiling like all the scenes, all the things in the video, like in their video editing software, into one big thing, compiling it all together so you can watch it, the whole video as like an MP4 file, for example, right? And this is a very costly process. It requires a lot of infrastructure. And large companies like Disney will have the infrastructure to do this. Large tech companies have the ability to render huge amounts of information, or compile this kind of information because they're set up for it. In fact, it's what makes something big tech. They've got huge servers. They've got a lot of people who are familiar with this kind of stuff. And this kind of becomes a barrier for entry for smaller tech startups or smaller companies who just don't have this, who don't have these servers and don't have this kind of stuff. So Deepin comes in 2017 with a project called Golem. There was another one called SOM, and I don't know really where these projects were, but this is where I first discovered about being able to outsource complex um, computer tasks via a decentralized network, right? So a lot of people used to be able to mine Bitcoin on their laptops, and that helped secure the network. This is a kind of a similar idea where instead of um, lending their computing power to ensure the proficiency of the network, instead, what people are doing on Deepin is they're lending their computer power to help render, say, like a project's animation or something like that. Or maybe there's a project that requires a lot of computing capacity. They can't do it themselves, so they might go to like Golem, and Golem will basically chop up the this computer process into many different parts, and then send those processes to a number of different computers on the Golem network, right? And everyone who is participating and helping manage the processing of this complicated information, and basically lending their the computing power, which by the way costs money because it costs energy to it costs power and electricity to run their computer whilst they're, you know, basically making their machines do all this work. They're going to be rewarded in this token called the Golem token, right? And the idea was companies that wanted to how can I say that wanted to be able to participate in the service, they had to buy this Golem token in order to be able to use it, right? Now, in exchange, all these people throughout the world in different countries with varying capacities of different computers and stuff like that, they would all collectively lend in helping do these complex tasks for this like one client, right? Who would have to pay them in Golem, and these people would get paid in Golem, and these people would, I don't know, maybe sell it on the open market where they get paid, and then they could like pay for their electricity bills or something like that, right? So this was a narrative in 2017, and it was originally just for, again, I keep coming to the the example of like rendering like videos and stuff like that, but this is something you can do for video games, um, anything, right? Again, I'm sorry, I'm not such a techie person, right? But you get the gist of where I'm coming from. Now, this idea, this DPIN idea, has come back in the recent couple of years because there's now a new use case for it. Now, unfortunately, things like Golem and Sonum didn't really take off because there just wasn't such a really strong demand for this kind of activity. It was a really interesting idea, but there wasn't really a whole lot of need for it until AI has come along. So AI has made the requirement for huge amounts of data processing. It's if you want to work in AI, if you want to become like work in this industry, you need to have huge amounts of data processing, right? Which unfortunately is only accessible to large big tech companies, which is basically why you have kind of like an AI monopoly. Only a few large companies have access to, you know, the server vaults and stuff like that, and as a result, not many people can participate in it. You know, this gold rush is limited to a few large players. AI is essentially being monopolized, right? But you've got all these people that want to participate in this market. All they really need is to be able to have access to, servers that will allow them to process huge chunks of information. And this is where DPINs come back in. So these, if you use one like, I think Render. I believe Render is the leading DPIN service right now. It's the largest. Let me get out of the way here. This is a service that they can do, and I think they specialize in being able to process data for AI. And there's a real need for it now because there's just not that many companies that have access to this kind of server bandwidth and stuff like that. So The idea is if you were looking for something to invest in, if you were looking for AI projects to invest in, what you're doing is you're buying a token or like a DPN token, and you're hoping that if this project does well enough and it does enough business with enough large customers and enough large AI customers, then their clients, like large tech companies, that are especially ones that are dealing in AI, they're going to have to go onto the open market and buy this render token in order to be able to do the service they're looking for, which is to be able to like render their large files and to do things like machine learning and stuff like that. They're going to have to essentially pay this token to all the people on the network that are helping them fulfill this service. And if you're just someone that is maybe you're not involved in helping them, like you're not lending your computing power or anything like that. If you just simply hold this token, the idea is that it might go up. It's kind of like a share, right? You're going to share in the success of this company. As this company, like Render, as they get more and more clients, as more and more people decide this is a great way of saving money. They don't have to invest in servers. They don't have to invest in a complex infrastructure. They can just rely on people that are lending their own computing power as part of this decentralized network. They will then have to buy this token, which will hopefully pump up the price of the token, and that's how you can invest in it, and then later on you can sell it, when you make money. That's the idea of investing in crypto AI. For the most part, this is probably the largest use case of crypto in AI. There are a few others that I can think of. One of them is decentralized identity. However, I don't really feel like there's really that much use case to the tokens that do that. And I'm not really actually familiar with which projects are related to DID, which is decentralized identification. There's a few of them here. I wouldn't be able to recognize them, but I just don't really see why it would be necessary to own like a token related to DID. Unfortunately, there are a lot of projects out there that they release a token, but the token doesn't actually have any real use case, and people will flock to that token, buying it simply because of keyword recognition. This is the trap that I wanted to explain to you before, and I was hoping that you wouldn't fall for it, because there's a lot of projects that actually might have a great service. Like, I think decentralized identification is actually, it can be very valuable. I think a lot of people might use those services. If they release a token though, I mean, what can you really do with the token? I don't think there's as much of a use case for it. So out of all the crypto AI use cases, the biggest one right now is DeepIn, and I suggest you look into it. Render is the largest one. I think maybe a cash network as well, and you've got Golem, who's still around. I think they're still doing their thing, but yeah, you're definitely going to want to look into DeepIn and see if it's worthwhile. Personally, I think a lot of things that are just going to be related to AI will just do well because there's AI in their white paper and stuff like that. But as far as the actual like use case of whether DeepIn will be such a huge will have such a huge market like next year, and there will be a lot of people that want to start using it. I personally just don't think so, and that's just a hunch. I can't really explain it. I just don't really think that's going to be the case. If the price of these things go up, it's just because everyone else is thinking, well, AI, crypto, both of those things go up. So line goes up, I'm just going to buy, and that's it. But in reality, I think you want to really look into the tokenomics and the utility of these tokens themselves to see whether it's useful. You want to see like how many partners they've got. Are they already working with different large clients? And maybe you can look into these clients and see how much work do you think they actually do, and how much work are they actually allocating to things like to DeepIn projects like Render. And from there, you can decide whether or not it's actually a good investment. So yeah, that's really it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I give daily updates about debanking and just other no-nonsense advice about crypto. And make sure to use my referral links in the description down below for non-KYC'd, non-custodial exchanges like Local CoinSwap, like HODL HODL. I think these are great places to buy crypto. You can use any payment method that you want, whereas on centralized exchanges, you've only got bank transfer, maybe Apple Pay, but on Local CoinSwap and other peer-to-peer exchanges that I recommend. There are like hundreds of different payment methods that you can use. So make sure to check that out, and I'll see you in the next video.